Last 2 blocks of row 3. Are you ready? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and we are completing our last blocks for row 3 of our Spring Showers quilt. So today we are going to work on Rain Boot 3A and Rain Boot 3B. So today we have one more packet of row 3 and then we are all done. So for this one, I am going to merge these together. The final cut size of each of these last 2 blocks is 4.5 by 6.5, so it's very doable to fit it into one hoop if you choose. If you're using a smaller hoop or you don't want to do them together, that is completely fine too. But I'm going to go over all the supplies together. So for A and B, they are the same. Let's see here. So we have this orange star fabric. Orange star, hopefully I didn't drop anything. Orange star fabric, one for A and one for B, and these are going to be cut to 6.5 by 8.5, 6.5 by 8.5, so upright like this, and back it with fusible stabilizer to ward off puckers. It is the orange star fabric in 6.5 by 8.5, and we want 2 of them, one for A and one for B. All right, and then this one does have special cut instructions, by the way, but we'll go over that. All right, and then we have our iron on vinyl again with our last 2 rain boots. So for this one, let's see, there it is. All right, so we are going to use this fabric that is white with tan flowers on it, white with tan flowers, and we're going to start with this at 4 by 5. So that's the same for each of the boots and also for the boot fabric and for the iron-on vinyl. So just like before, you would take off the iron-on vinyl, put it on top of your main fabric, and then put the shiny side down on the top and iron it. So I'm sure you know, but the sticky side of this vinyl goes toward the fabric. You wouldn't want to iron the sticky side. You want to put that on your fabric, cover it, and then iron the paper side of the vinyl to adhere. All right, so then you've got 2 pieces, 4 by 5 of the fabric. It's the white with flowers, tan flowers on it. And then also same for the iron-on vinyl. All right, so 2 of those. And then we have 2 pieces of cording, one for each of the boots. It's a little less than 3 inches. Just like I said from the previous boot, you're going to take that one long strip and cut it. Cut off that little part that holds it all together and then separate it into 4 equal pieces, and it comes out to just a tad under 3 inches. So you want one of each of these, and you want to use that water soluble stabilizer on top so that you don't have the needle of your machine or the foot of your machine dragging across and pulling up our cording. We want to just cover that, and we'll go over it when we get to that part. All right, and then for our quilting, we are going to do the umbrellas today. I'm so excited. The umbrellas quilting is so cute. So for this, my chair was slipping. All right, so for this one, we are going to use batting, and we're going to have 2 pieces of batting, and our batting is 5 by 7 because our final cut size is 4.5 by 6.5. So 5 by 7 batting, and you want 2 of them. And then for our quilting, we are going to use the umbrellas. It is called Spring 1. Spring 1 in 4 by 6. You can use any quilting design that you want. That's 4 by 6. I'm going to use the Spring 1, and it is umbrellas. I don't recall if it's blue or orange. Actually, it doesn't matter because even if you have a 5 by 7 hoop, you can do this one. So Rain Boots 3, it is a blue design anyway, but it doesn't matter because you won't need to rehoop this. So the 5 by 7 people and those with big hoop, it doesn't matter. You're going to use the 4 by 6 in the umbrellas, Spring 1, or whatever quilting design you choose. All right, let's get started making our last boot project. Hey everyone, so before we start on those really cute rain boots, we first have to make the buckle. So the buckle, we have one piece of felt, it's that antique white felt, and we're going to cut this to 3 by 2.5 for the belt buckle, and that is for the rain boots. We need this before we do our rain boots. All right, so we will also need the Kimberbell wash away stabilizer. It's the one with the dark teal colored label, and that will go in our hoop to be able to make our boot buckle. So our boot buckle, and we will add the buckle on as part of the design. I'll probably add that on at the end, I'm not sure, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and make the boot buckles before we make our rain boots, and get started on those, the last set of super cute boot buckles, boots. God. Hey everyone, so I've decided I am going to merge my two boots together in one hooping, so I thought we could go through that together if you choose to do that as well. So one thing, real quick, you notice that my workspace is a light pink. I chose that. I think it comes up as white or yellow as the default. I went to Edit, Preferences, and then I think it was Display and Background Color. And you can choose whatever color you want as your background color. You can see I chose a light pink. So that's why mine might be different than yours. It doesn't matter. All right, so mine has opened up to a 4x4 hoop. You can see it down here. And I'm going to actually use my 8x12 hoop. So I'm going to this Preferences folder, and then I'm going to find my 8x12 hoop and say OK. And then I can go up here to this compass and hit H for hoop so I can see my whole hoop. All right, so the first thing is always, or almost always, to bring in the quilting design. So I'm going to go here to Merge Stitch File, and I am going to find the quilting design. So mine is under Spring Showers Quilting Bundle, and the one that we're using today is Spring 1. It's the really cute one with the umbrellas. So you can see this is a blue design, and you know it's a blue design when it has two folders in the one design. So in Spring 1, there's a block by block folder, and there's a clear blue tiles folder. I went over in a different video the difference. I'm going to just show you real quick here. You can see these are just the quilting designs. When you use the CBT file, it's assuming you've already got your batting down and you just want the quilting design. So this is just the quilting design. If you do the block by block, then you can see it has all of the placement and tack down for the batting. So we are doing the block by block version on this quilt. So I'm going to look for the 4x6 design in Spring 1 right here. So I double click on that, and it goes to the center of my workspace, or the center of my hoop. So I'm going to make some small changes to this before I add the second one. So if I click on this little plus button here, it will show me all of the steps in this quilting design. So notice that mine jumps to default colors, and I had someone ask, I had a couple of people ask why mine are default 1 blue and default 2 orange, and there's somebody had Madeira colors and someone had Bernina colors, and I don't know, these are the defaults that come up on mine. But I want to point something out. So like I'm going to change this 1-3. So this is the placement stitch for the main fabric. So if I click on this color here, actually before I even do that, so if I click on this thread right here above the color, thread, notice it gives you an option to choose whatever thread brand that you want. There's a whole bunch of them. All right, and I have mine set to Fil-Tec Glide because we use Glide for a lot of our Kimberbell projects. And then I said use this as my preferred brand. So maybe that's why mine come up as default, but I don't think so, because look, if I say okay, it changes. So see, it changed that one to a Fil-Tec color. So let's see if I click preferred. I think it changes all of them at some point. Preferred, yes. So I clicked on preferred, and notice they all went to Fil-Tec colors. So at this point the colors don't matter, but I was trying to figure out why someone else would have different thread colors come up as their default. And unless you've clicked on that thread or preferred, I would assume you've got the default colors. I'm not absolutely sure about that, but anyway, I'm gonna go back. Let's see, here is the undo, and I'm going to do that just so that I have those default back in case other people have default. I don't want to make it too confusing. So that was the undo button right here, is this black arrow. All right, so now I'm back on the defaults. So if I click on this little plus arrow, it shows me the 5 steps that are in the quilting design. And you can see that there's default 1 blue and default 2 orange twice in this one small quilting design. So if I were to do a color sort, it's going to join those because they're together. So I'm going to go ahead and change them. So default 1 blue, I'm just going to pick a color that's close by. So I'm going to pick tropical and say okay. And then for this default 2 orange, this is the tack down of the main fabric. I'm going to click on the color and then I'm going to choose Oriole and say okay. So that's the only change I'm going to make, and it's just so that there are different colors. So this one is all done. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then oh wait, actually first I want to rotate it, sorry. So I've clicked on the design, and now this left arrow button here is a rotate 90 degrees. So I'm going to click on that just so that I can utilize my whole hoop. Click anywhere on the stitching, and I like to line up the batting with the grid line. Not sure why, it works for me. So when I say the grid line, see all of these grid lines here, I just line up the batting with that, just in case if I need to move anything down, it just makes it easier. It's one less line to worry about. So that one is already all done. So I'm going to now hit Control C for copy and Control V. I'm doing that on my keyboard, and it now will have pasted on top of the original one. So I'm just going to click somewhere in the stitching and move that out of the way, and I'm going to bring it out here, again lining it up with the batting line with the grid line. All right, and I'm just doing it far enough away that my fabrics in the middle here won't overlap. All right, so you can see that there are those 2 here now, and both of them have no matching colors that would have a problem with color sorting. So that is all done. So now I'm going to bring in the embroidery design. So again, I would go to this merge stitch file, and I'm going to close out this quilting bundle, and I'm going to look for my Spring Showers KD11 embroidery files, Spring Showers quilt, and all the designs will start to come up. So I'm looking for Rain Boot 3, I think it's A and B. Here it is. Yep, so I'm going to click on this first one, double click on it, and it goes to the center. And I'm just going to click somewhere on it so that it is highlighted, and I'm going to rotate it with that same button that we used before. And then I'm going to use these placement that they're actually trimming guides. I'm going to use those to line up with our basting stitch. So I'm just going to click somewhere on the stitching and move it over, and you can see I can line up the trim guides with our basting stitch. So I stitched these on our last one and realized I don't think they're for us. I think they're for the people that are not quilting in the hoop, because they're right on our basting stitch. So it's just another thing to take out. So I'm not going to stitch them this time, but I am going to use them to help line up my block. So that works. All right, so on this first one, we have those default colors again, but we're not going to be copying and pasting. So we need to go ahead and bring in the 4th boot. So again, merge stitch file, sorry, 4th part. It's our 2nd boot, but it's our 4th step because we have our 2 quilting designs and the 1 rain boot and then the next rain boot. So our 4th item. So we're looking for rain boot 3B now. There's 3A, so it should be right here. There it is. Double click on it, and again it goes to the center. So I'm going to click this left arrow button. Oops, sorry, first you have to click on the design so it knows what you want to rotate, and then click on that rotate button. And again, I'm going to use these trim guides to line it up with my basting stitch. All right, and then release it. All right, so now we have our 4 parts. So we have the first 2 as our quilting designs, and then we have 3 and 4 are our boots. And so we have, as you can see, there's default 1 blue and default 2 orange. And I think there was something else. shadow. So there's default shadow twice also. So if we were to do a color sort right now, it's going to merge all of those together or join them together, and we don't want that to happen. So I am going to make a couple minor changes. So this is the placement for the strap, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that, and it will join with the default 1 blue. The first item, 3-1, will be the same as 4-1, because that will be the strap for the second boot. So I'm going to go ahead and keep those. And then for the tack down, same thing. I'm going to go ahead and keep it just because we've got the first two. We'll go ahead and leave these. So for the third one though, this is also a default 1 blue, and we don't want it to merge with that placement of our strap. So I'm going to go ahead and change the color on this. So I just click on the color and choose another color. I'm going to choose mint just because it's close by and nice and easy. So I'm going to say okay. Now, since I changed that on this first boot, I do want these both the two applique pieces to join, so I need to change it on the fourth item, which is the second boot. So we've did it on 3-3, so that means that on 4-3 we want to make that change. If there were like flowers like on that one boot, if there were added things to this, the numbers would not line up, but they do on this. So I'm just going to go by that. So it was 3-3 and 4-3 that we are changing, and I changed it to mint. Say okay. All right, and then going back to the third, so here's our third item in our Embellishment Essentials. So we've got the mint. Now we need to tack it down. So our tack down is the same as our tack down of our strap. So we need to change the color on this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then I'm just going to click on the first one, which is Biscotti. And then that was 3-4, so 4-4, I want to also change to Biscotti so that they will join. All right, and then we have, I'm going back up to the third, which is our first rain boot. So we have mint and Biscotti, and then we have our linen. We want that's going to stay the same. We don't have another linen, so we don't need to make any changes to that. And then we have the sole of the boot as shadow. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. And then here we have another default blue. And we kept a default blue, so that means we need to change this one. So this is 3-7. So on 7, I'm going to click the color and choose another color. I'm picking azure. It doesn't matter what color as long as they match up. So that was 3-7. So here's 4-7. And again, I'm going to change it to azure. All right, and then let's see where we are. We have 3-7. All right, so this is shadow. This is the tack down of our strap. Is it right? Yeah. This is the placement of our strap, and this is the tack down of our strap. So this is shadow, which is the same as the sole of the boot. So we can't have the same color or it will merge them, and they're different steps. We need that tack down. So we're going to go ahead and change that color. So I'm going to click on the color here, and I'm going to change it to lead gray. It doesn't matter what color, but we want to make sure and do it on the other boot. So that was on 3-8, so we're going to go to 4-8 and click on the color and click lead gray. All right, and then these default Tidewater, I'm going to go ahead and leave them just to see if they merge. They should. And then I'm going to delete them. Actually, I won't delete them. You can delete them. I'm not going to delete them just so that I remember to put them in the tutorial and say to bypass them. But for those of you that are using Embellishment Essentials or any other software, you could go ahead and delete those. It's up to you. I'm not going to stitch them on this because like I said, it just goes over our basting stitch and there isn't really a purpose for us. I think that they put that in for the people that are not doing quilting in the hoop. All right, so let's go ahead and try out our color sort and see how we do. So if we go to Utility, Color Sort, and it's thinking and working on it, and it takes away 14 color changes. So I'm going to click New View, and then it all comes up to one item here. So I'm going to click on that and just quickly look through. So there's our placement for our batting, tack down for our batting, placement for our main fabric, tack down for our main fabric, and our quilting. So all of those grouped exactly how we want them. Now this is the placement for our strap and our tack down for our strap. I forgot to mention that If you want, you could keep these as different colors and not have them group. You still would have to change the color from the default, but you could change them if you get one taped in place and think, oh, I need a minute to make sure the second one is ready, you could just change that color. I'm going to go ahead and have them grouped, and because I'm going to tape them in place anyway for the tutorial. So this is the tack down of the strap, and then we have the placement for our boot fabric and our tack down of our boot fabric, and those are all grouped. Now our satin stitch for our boot, and that's grouped perfectly, and the sole of our boots are grouped perfectly. This is the placement for the strap, and those are good. That's how I want that. And the tack down of the strap. Again, you could change this if you wanted them separated. You don't have to join them. You would just do a different color, but I do want mine joined. And then it did join our Tidewater, which is the trimming guides. So again, you can delete this if you want. You don't need it if you're quilting in the hoop. I'm going to bypass it. All right, so this all worked out perfectly, so I'm going to do a file, save, working file, stitch file. I'm going to do stitch file. Working file is if you think you're going to come back to it again. I'm going to do save stitch file, and I'm in my Spring Showers quilt, so I am going to say 3AB boots joined. Doesn't matter what you name it, it's up to you. Something that you'll be able to find it easily. You could also save it to your desktop if that's easier. So that's all done, and it's all perfect, and I'm ready to stitch. And my shirt today is actually a jean jacket, and I added on these bicycles and flowers myself on the lapel of the shirt, and then the back has a really cute bicycle design and a flower design. So I will add a photo to show you the back.